What's up, Broncos fans? Welcome into the Broncos Breakdown. I'm Matthew Peterson, and today's show is all about whether or not Jim Harbaugh could be the head coach of the Denver Broncos. That's right. The Michigan football head coach has been apparently rumored to be contemplating a return to the NFL, and if he does want to come back, I'm going to give him a pitch as to why he should go to the Broncos. But first, The Athletic reported that he could be interested, maybe even swayed or, dare I say, bought to return to the NFL. Now, what's interesting is that he has not just closed the book and denied these rumors, which one would think if they had no water to them and if they held no truth, he would come out and say, that's not true, I'm sticking in Ann Arbor. The first two teams that were initially reported that he would be interested or rumored to go to are the Raiders and the Bears. Now, he coached for the Raiders back in the early 2000s, and of course, he played for the Chicago Bears when he came out of Michigan as a quarterback. Before we get to the rest of the Harbaugh rumors and whether or not he could actually end up in Mile High, guys, I just want to thank you for a second for getting us to 5,000 subscribers. That's right, the Broncos Breakdown just crossed that threshold today. So thank you so much to all of you guys who have subscribed. And if you haven't already, come join the channel if you want free Broncos content all year long covering the latest news and rumors. Now back to what you clicked on. That's Jim Harbaugh and whether or not he could really end up in Denver. Let's at least look at his career, okay? And you see he started in San Diego, had tons of success there. That got him a job at Stanford, which he killed. And then the 49ers, which I think has been so long ago at this point, we kind of forget what a booming impact he had in year one. I'll tell you about that more later on in the video. Most recently at Michigan, where he finally got the Wolverines to a place where it at least reflects his paycheck and beat Ohio State, got over that hump, and of course, most notably, going to the college football playoff where he got his ass kicked by by Georgia. But here's my situation. Here's my opinion on this, my take. If this is real, if Harbaugh actually is interested and maybe wants to come back to the NFL, George Paton has to make the call. He has to be in the running. He has to be in the mix. He's got to do his due diligence because Harbaugh, I think, would be a fantastic hire. He's been pretty good at Michigan. I mean, from a wins-losses standpoint, he's been a phenomenal coach at Michigan. But, of course, college football has a bit of a caveat of expectations and what the fan base expects you to do. And you don't really have that so much in the NFL. You just got to win. And if you win in the NFL, no one's going to be happy if you only won 11 games instead of 12 games. Not like that in college, okay? We'll get to the rest of the show in a moment, but first, let me know from you guys. Should the Broncos try to get Jim Harbaugh? This will be the pinned comment, and usually YouTube likes to stick an ad break right now. So if you get hit with one, go on down, reply with a Y for yes or N for no. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Here's going to be my pitch to Denver, all right, Jimmy? If you want to come to Mile High, please do, because I think it would be a better fit than the Bears and the Raiders, right? And the Raiders, okay? I'll run through all the ways I think Denver exceeds the Vegas and Chicago franchises and why the Broncos and Mile High would be a better fit. So first things first, the Broncos, they've got 5 picks in the top 100 of the 2022 NFL Draft. They've got their own first, which is looking pretty good right now. Could end up 7 and 10. I'm not rooting for tanking, of course, but that would be a top 15 pick. Then you got 2 seconds and 2 thirds by way of the Rams. The other thing is you look at the other 2 teams and why I think Denver is better than the Raiders and the Bears. Las Vegas has had horrible luck. I don't even know if you call it luck, controlling their players. It's been a nightmare. From Ruggs to Nate Hobbs most recently. That's 2 DUIs. Then you got Damon Arnett with a gun charge going on as well, or something in that nature. Listen, for whatever reason, Raiders players have this idea that they have to embody the nickname. I don't see anyone on the Broncos running around like a horse. I don't know why Raiders players feel the need that they have to be actual Raiders. I mean, yeah, call me, pigs will fly when Jerry Jeudy is acting like a horse at Mile High Stadium. Now, as for the Bears, okay, the Broncos have more cap space and more draft capital in 2022. So it's a more tempting position. I get it. Chicago's got Justin Fields, and the Broncos still have to get their QB1. But if I'm Harbaugh, I'm looking at Denver going, I could take all that draft capital, exchange it or make a push for Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers, and I've got more cap space to bring in maybe someone like Devontae Adams for Aaron Rodgers. You don't have quite that same luxury you do in Chicago. All this talk doesn't matter if Vic Fangio returns next season. This is all speculation. And Vic Fangio knows that. I'm sure he has the internet. I'm sure he goes and reads the tea leaves and see what's going on about his name. I don't know if he watches the show, but would love for him to, voice his opinion in the comment section if he does. But Vic Fangio just today was asked about whether or not he's going to return in 2022. And here's what he said. He was pretty frank about it. Well, that's a pretty all-encompassing question there that may take some time to answer. But I do believe this team has made progress. We made it to 6-5. We lost 3 tough games to teams that are going to make the playoffs. A play here and there, a better call here and there, and maybe we get over the hump there. He would continue to say, and we're still in the hunt now. No, you're not. And then last week, we've got to go to be able to play with what we've got, but we did have a depleted roster last week. I'm not one to campaign publicly, but I was asked that question, so I gave that answer recently that you alluded to. But I really rather had those discussions with George Paton and Joe Ellis, the team president. What'd you expect him to say? Honestly, this is a lot more coach talk than you usually get. Usually they are pretty reserved on that. He was pretty honest and direct about, he would like to come back, and he even kind of lobbied for himself, saying we got to 6-5, and we lost 3 tough games, and we got some bad breaks, but that's kind of the reason why I think Denver needs to make a change is you lost 3 games to playoff teams. You hire a coach to win in the playoffs. If he can't beat playoff teams in the regular season, down the stretch when it matters most, then what makes you think he's going to win it in the playoffs when all the chips are in the middle of the table? But let me know what you think here. Pick a coach for me. You want to run it back with Fangio? Great defense, get a better quarterback, let a new offensive coordinator handle business. Or maybe you want Harbaugh, or maybe you just want to take the field. F for Fangio, H for Harbaugh, or O for other. We're going to look at the rest of today's show in just a moment, but let me tell you about our sportsbook partner, BetUS. They're still going all year long. They don't take a season off just because the NFL season's wrapping up. In fact, you can bet on the Super Bowl, on the playoffs. Do it all at chatsports.com/bet. Get that promo code in, Broncos125, and you're looking at a 125% deposit bonus. In English, say you put $100 in, now you got $225 to play with. Here are my Week 18 picks in case you want to ride with me. I went 4-1 last week, above 500 on the season. I got the over in the Dolphins-Pats. I think a lot of points could be scored there. I'm rooting for chaos with the Jags, honestly, so I'll take all those points at home. More points over in Tennessee-Houston because the Texans actually put up points each-ish recently. Davis Mills has improved. Falcons to upset the Saints, I think, and then the Seahawks after that huge win last week. Maybe they go out on a good high note, or maybe they just are able to cover 7 points against the Cardinals team that sucks at home. Going back to Harbaugh, though, okay, let's not forget the success he had. This is what I was talking about earlier in the video. You look at what he did when he was in San Francisco, okay? I'm going to remind you guys, he took over in the 49ers in 2011. The year before, checking my notes here, they went 6-10. Okay, not pretty good there. Tough for Singletary. After that, 6-10, first year, 13-3, and he takes them to the NFC Conference Championship. He goes from 6-10 to 13-3 in just 1 year. In his second year, he's got him in the Super Bowl. In the third year, they're back to the NFC Championship. Then a bit of a letdown in 2014, and then he's off to college in 2015. But Harbaugh was super successful immediately with the 49ers. So don't let recency bias of, he's been a bit of a bust in college. That's college. The expectations in college are way different and way high, way too high in my opinion than in the NFL. And once again, I show you what Harbaugh has done in his career, an overall record. The guy's a winner, okay? He doesn't tolerate nonsense either. He's a hard-nosed, I want winners. I don't want excuse makers. I want people that want to hit someone for a living, and I think that's what we all love about football. But let's say you don't want Harbaugh. Well, I did a Vic Fangio replacements video just the other day, and here are my top 5 replacements if the Broncos decide to move on from Fangio. 5-1, I got Kevin O'Connell, the OC at the Rams. Everyone's chasing the next Matt LaFleur or Sean McVay, and he kind of looks like them combined. Brian Callahan, similar build, a similar fit of a young offensive-minded guy who's rocking and rolling with Cincinnati right now, got them to the playoffs. Kellen Moore, similar-ish. Nathaniel Hackett, the idea there is maybe the OC at the Packers can lure Rodgers to come with them to Denver. And then my top pick is Brian Daboll out of Buffalo. I think he's got the combination of offensive-minded and plenty of experience, plus 5 Super Bowls. So he knows a thing or two about winning something. My other candidates I went through on the show, posted. I'll have the link down below, by the way, in case you want to watch it. Dan Quinn, Bieniemy. I think Bieniemy, I don't know if Kansas City would let him talk to Denver in the postseason. Maybe I'm overthinking that, but maybe they don't want to let Bieniemy go to another AFC West team, so they could deny that interview request. Byron Leftwich, I think, could be a great hire. I just worry how young he is. I mean, in terms of like experience in the NFL, he's only been coaching since 2017. Has it been him or has it been all Brady? Todd Bowles, the Jets fired a 10-win coach. That tells you everything about the Jets organization. But defensive guy, I don't know if the Broncos want to go back in that direction. And then Doug Peterson, a former head coach who won a Super Bowl. So maybe he wants to come back out of retirement. Not really retirement, but he just hasn't been working last year. So I would be fine with Peterson, actually. Probably should have him higher up on the list. But let me know, who do you want the Broncos coach to be in 2022? Let me know who you want to be. You heard what I had to say. Curious what you guys think. That's what we're all about here at Chat Sports and the Broncos Breakdown. It's not just me standing up here talking. I want to see what you guys have to say in the comment section below. I think it needs to be an offensive-minded guy. If it's Kellen Moore or if it's Nathaniel Hackett, whoever it may be, I think you got to run with an offensive-minded guy. You just got to see the direction the NFL is going, and that is scoring points. And that doesn't mean defense can't win championships, but the Broncos have the number 1 defense-ish right now in the NFL, 1, 2, or 3, depending where you call it, and they are still a 7-win team. So defense, I think, right now can only get you so far. Defense wins championships in the playoffs, but you got to get to the playoffs first, okay? And right now the Broncos defense isn't getting them to the playoffs. If you haven't already, hit that big red button, subscribe. That way you stay in the know all year long on the latest Broncos news and rumors. We'll catch you later here on the Broncos Breakdown.